Well, thank you for joining us on this D.AI.SY presentation. D.AI.SY stands for Decentralized AI System. Now, D.AI.SY was born of 4 founders and this lady called Dr. Anna Becker. She's, well, I call her a child genius, but at the age of 20, she founded a solution to an algorithm that hadn't been solved for more than 37 years. She studied we call artificial intelligence, and acquired a PhD at the elite Technion University. She's been involved in AI. She's a world-renowned source for AI, a lot of experience, and she started her company Endotech way back in 2012. Originally, they dealt with dealing for many corporations, including Dragon Holdings, MF Global. She also works for the banking industry and for institutions, as well as hedge funds. And she has a lot of experience in the Forex markets. But in 2018, she switched her attention to cryptocurrency. And that's an amazing arena that we find ourselves in. Blockchain and cryptocurrency alongside AI, it's the perfect marriage for a new wave of business. And she's been very, very successful. In fact, Dr. Anna Becker has over $1 billion of investment under management. And while she has in around 150 what we would call institutional type clients, she's just recently got involved in the private sector. And we've come together today to look at a model. It's a crowdfunding model that allows people like you and I to participate at this very high and sophisticated level where institutions normally get involved with. Now, when you're doing your homework and your due diligence, you will find that Endotech is found on the Gemini.com website. Now, Gemini.com is a very famous website. It's owned by the Winklevoss twins, the 2 brothers. These guys are renowned billionaires. Of course, they were around at the beginning of Facebook. They were around in the early days of Bitcoin. In fact, in 2013, the Winklevoss brothers bought $11 million worth of Bitcoin back then. How clever, how smart. And today on the Winklevoss twins website, Gemini.com, if you go across to institutions and scroll down, you'll find that they too are very happy to endorse, very happy to promote the Endotech brand. And of course, that's the brand we're looking at tonight, Endotech. And of course, the unique model, the D.AI.SY system that we're going to share with you right now. I will for a moment just go to some of their institutional accounts. This will not apply to this group on the call tonight, but I just want to give you some past performance. And whilst that certainly doesn't equal anything in the future, it gives you an indication of the capabilities of this team. Because Dr. Anna Becker is working alongside scientists, mathematicians, traders, robotics. I mean, it's a very specialized field. But traditionally, to get involved in this type of trading, you need to have somewhere in the region of $1 million to put in. And there's normally what's called the 20-20 rule. 20% is generally the charge to set up an account. So typically it would cost you $200,000. Dr. Anna Becker does it quite good. She offers it at 12.5% for the big institutional clients. And then at the back end, there's always another, fee, which is 20% of the gains. Now that's normally how traditional investment, traditional institutional trading works. And that's why it's out of the reach for most people. It's reserved for the high net worth individuals. It's reserved for the banking industry. But I just want to show you the type of accounts that they've been operating. Now, this account we're looking at is 3 years old, January 2018. And the profits are amazing. I mean, the average annualization of their compounded profit and loss is about 800%. And that goes beyond the realms of most people's understanding. In real estate, you'd probably expect to get a yield of 10% in real estate, if that's what you're involved with. If you're looking at, let's say, the gold industry, you're looking at about 10%. But here in this very lucrative and volatile cryptocurrency world, she's achieving these amazing results. But of course, this is not available for us. I'm just showing you the capabilities. This would be called a high-risk account. It's called her alpha strategy. She's also got about somewhere in the region of 40 different strategies and algorithms. And that's down to the type of client, down to the risk that the client wants. It's down to a lot of variables, and that is discussed at a high level with Endotech and the particular client. Now, here's another account I'll show you. It's actually a friend of mine's account. He was very willing to log in, show us the details. Now, he's a private customer. This has nothing to do with Endotech and the DAISY model tonight, but I just want to show you its past performance, its true results from some of her programming. This is called the Top Leverage Strategy. This account started in, what was that, the 1st of September last year, and we did this up until the 9th of November. It was a $10,000 account, and of course, this strategy had returned just less than 300% in a very short period of time. Now, Dr. Anna Becker has said herself that she's going to manage the fund, or the DAISY fund, for us. And what's the difference? Well, how trading normally works is your money's kept on an exchange like Gemini, or it's kept on an exchange like Binance. And through an API key, Endotech would plug in with power of attorney. You give them power of attorney, they would trade your account. And what that means is they can't withdraw any money, they can't change anything. It's just the power of attorney to trade on that account. So you have control of your money. That's normally how it works. In this case, Dr. Anna Becker is taking control of the funds, which is better because any customer could change, could withdraw money. Any customer could alter their balance of affairs. In other words, if you had money in Bitcoin, maybe the client goes into their Gemini or their Binance account and changes that to Ethereum. That has a big effect on the trading, or maybe they withdraw funds because you're in control. In this model, she's taking control because of this unique arrangement of crowdfunding. Now, this is a client account of the DAISY project. It's one of our tier 10 customers, and you can see that already it's showing profits of $1,861. Now, that was yesterday, the 4th of February, late in the evening. Today, the same account, earlier today at lunchtime today, it was showing 2,500, and that's passive income. And this is true trading results, live data feed coming from the DAISY fund as they're developing the business. So we've looked at some corporate clients, we've looked at some private clients, and now we're looking at some results of the DAISY fund itself. But just to put some roadmap in front of you to show you how this has come about. As we said, she started the Endotech brand way back in 2012. In 2018, she got involved in the crypto currency trading. She moved off from the Forex division. She had her company valued back in November at $100 million, so that's quite interesting. And then we are right now at the pre-launch and launch of the DAISY crowdfund opportunity. So what we're actually doing is we're contributing to the next phase or the next development of AI. It's a project, and if you like the project, you're very welcome to contribute in your crowdfunding arrangement. Now, there are two benefits of doing this. Number one, Dr. Anna Becker has agreed to offer this community 10% of her company. So her intentions are possibly by the end of next year, market conditions prevailing, she will bring this company to the stock market, and 10% of her company will be offered to this DAISY community. So the first benefit is if you crowdfund this project and you like what you see, you're going to get up to 10% equity in the company. That's the first benefit. The second benefit is she's going to give us trading rewards, like I just showed you in the last slides. These were trading rewards, passive traded rewards from the program because you've contributed to the crowd. That's how it works. Once this crowd this project has been developed, they're looking to raise 500 million on our first tranche. We did about $55 million in the first 4 days. So it is looking on target that we will reach our 500 million. But there are additional phases of Forex DAISY project, and even later the stock trading with the DAISY fund in the future. So there is a roadmap there. Very, very exciting times ahead. And if you like what you see, all you need to do is download some software, which is absolutely free. You'll get it for your Android device on Google Play. You'll get it for your iOS device, for the Apple devices. You can get this Tron Link Chrome extension if you'd like to have it on your PC. So you can have it on your cell phone, or you can have this wallet on your PC through a Chrome extension. Now, it might sound complicated, but it's not. You go to Google, you type in Tron Link Chrome extension, you download the apparatus, and it appears on your computer. It's very, very simple. It's what's called a dApps browser. It's a decentralized application browser. And the person that brought you to this call will simply submit you a smart link. Like a referral link, you put that into the D.AI.SY browser, that gives you access to the platform, and then you go and make a contribution. It's very, very simple. Now, what I like about the project is, number one, that the contribution is very, very small, and it allows the masses to participate because the minimum contribution is just $100. And that's a long way off being an institutional client where you would probably need $1 million and 200,000 to get the thing funded. So it's a very, very soft entry into, let's call it institutional trading for just $100. Now, what actually happens is there is a smart contract that assigns 50% of your contribution to the D.AI.SY fund, and then the other 50% would go to the marketing side of things. And the good news is you can withdraw the money, no problem. If there's a profit there, if there's what's called a trading reward, that's up to you, of course, anytime you wish to withdraw that. You could, however, allow it to compound and leave it within. And of course, we know that the benefits of compounding is far superior than just leaving your principal there and withdrawing the profit. So, but the choice is yours. The choice is yours. Now, very, very simple to get started. I've already showed you that the minimum contribution would be $100, but of course, there are 9 additional contribution tiers. And depending on you, depending on your budget, depending on your financial circumstances, and I suppose depending on how much you like the project, then it's entirely up to you what level you might contribute at. The $100, as I said, $50 will go to the trading account. The other $50 will go to the crowd. And on the right-hand side here, you can see that you will get 1 share for your $100 in 5% of the company equity. Now, you might have heard me say she'd offer 10%. That is true. 5% is offered to everyone that contributes, and the other 5% is reserved for, let's call it the higher achievers. And we'll show you that a little bit later in our presentation. Now, if you'd like to contribute an additional 200, that would be a total of 300. Well, the same rule applies. 50% will go to your trading account, 50% will go to the marketing side of things in the D.AI.SY crowd, and you'll get some extra equity in the company. And that goes all the way down to what we call tier 7, where the total contribution would be $12,700. The 50-50 rule applies. 50% goes to your trading account, where you can enjoy passive trading rewards. And then the other 50% goes to the marketing side of the operation for the D.AI.SY crowd. There is a thick black line here, and all that simply means is the software realizes that when you contribute at tiers 8, 9, and 10, these additional contributions are divided 70-30. In other words, 70% of your contribution will go to the D.AI.SY trade fund, and 30% will go to the crowd. Now, I want to hypothetically suggest a number here, and it's quite easy. If we round this up to $70,000, and imagine Dr. Anna Becker achieved 100% trading rewards for the fund. Well, that means the $70,000 would be $140,000. Imagine she was able to create 200% return. Well, 200% would turn that into $280,000 for you. Imagine she even got it to 300%, and we don't need to go beyond that with, you know, we've seen 800%, we've seen 300%, but just let's take it to 300%. 300% compounded return would bring this to $560,000 passive. So if you cannot afford to contribute at these higher tiers, you can always start low and upgrade as you go along. You can use your trading rewards and your commission bonuses to actually upgrade to higher tiers. It's entirely up to you. So the first 7 tiers, it's a 50-50 arrangement. Tiers 8, 9, and 10 create automatically a 70-30. And again, the good news is for those that do all 10 tiers, you're going to be invited as a VIP client of Endotech, meaning that if you have funds on Gemini, she will then trade them for you at 100%. So this is a very easy entry on your way to institutional trading, because once you've contributed to tier 10, you become what's called a VIP client. And at that point, you can keep your funds on Binance, you keep your funds on the exchange, you can keep your funds with the Winklevoss twins. She will API into your account with your permission and trade 100% of your funds. And that is very, very special arrangement for our tier 10 clients. So that's the potential. If you can't envisage that, you work your way up, starting with $100, and over a period of time, you will get to that point. So that's a little bit about the various contributions that are available. I want to now talk about the other side of things. What happens the 50%? What happens the other 30%? Well, what happens is the software automatically assigns it to what we call a matrix. A matrix is just a piece of software. It's very, very simple. It's a piece of software. The software we're using is a 3 by 10 matrix. What that means is there are 3 empty locations on the first generation of your business. Let's suggest you shared this idea with 3 friends of yours. They would be allocated to these first 3 empty locations, 1, 2, and 3. But in the case where you might have a 4th, 5th, 6th, or 10th referral, they cannot be positioned in these first 3 locations because they're closed property. That's gone. They will spill over onto what you call the second generation of your matrix, and they will fall under the first 3 to their benefit, of course, even though they're not connected. They will benefit as well. You get 4% on your first generation of the contribution, you get 4% on the second generation of your contribution. And because this is in a yellow colored rectangle, that simply means that this spillover could happen to you without making any personal introductions yourself. Now, it's not very likely, but in the event that you had an active upline or a very active upline, there is that potential that the spillover would occur and you can get the profits from other people's contributions. The best way, I suppose, is just to do it yourself. Go out and find those 3 people, help them find 3, and systematically build out your matrix. Now, if we just focus on the moment for $100, imagine we only started with $100. Well, you can see that 48% potential here in those first 2 generations. 48%, $12 and 36 is 48% of 100. That means the other $50 that's trading with Endotech only needs to make $2 for you to be in a break-even point, and that's a very, very special arrangement. If you can envisage people upgrading to tiers 1 to 7, again, the potential volume here or rewards would be about $6,000. And if you can envisage those first 12 upgrading to tiers 8, 9, and 10, you can see there's about $21,000 in addition to the $6,000 is available here. That's either free money from spillover or it's from what you create. Now, to get paid on the 3rd generation, you must perform. There is no performance requirements for the first 2, but if you want to get paid on the 3rd generation, the software is going to look to see, have you helped? Have you contributed to the crowd? And in this case, you require 3 personal introductions, a total contribution of $1,000, and that would open up the 3rd generation of your matrix, allowing you to receive the payments on 27 contributors. You would get 3% on each of those. I imagine you won't know who these are because they'd be coming from either the 3 or the 9 or maybe your upline, but that's how it works, 3% of these 27 contributions. If you'd like to gain, for instance, if we go all down to generation 10, you would require 24 introductions, of which 128,000 personal, well, yes, that's the personal introduction contributions would be $128,000. And in that case, that opens 59,000 additional contributions at 4% to you. So you can see here that the total payout here is 34% of the contributions. And if we take that just down through the $100 matrix, you're looking at about 344,000. Now, I want to tell you something. On a calculator, this is very accurate. On an Excel spreadsheet, this is very accurate. But in the real world, it's not so true. Because you've got people who are busy, you've got people who are lazy, you've got people who are part-time, you have other people that are full-time, you have people with skills, you have people less skilled. And in the real world, you're going to find out that some people, of course, will share this with 3 people, some will share it with 23 people, but also some people will do nothing, and that's fine. So this is a hypothetical example based on everybody finding 3. Let's hypothetically suggest in the month of February, you produced 3 referrals, and you helped them in the month of March produce 3 referrals each. That would be 9. And if they found 3 in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, let's say by the end of the year, if everybody pulled their own weight, if everybody provided 3 members to the crowd, and if everybody contributed just $100, you'd make $344,000 if that, if it worked out like that. What if we suggested hypothetically that 50% of this worked in your case? Well, how bad would $170,000 be? And what if we only achieved 10% of this hypothetical example? Well, 10% of 344 is very simple. It's $34,000. And for many people, that would substitute a lost wage, or it would supplement an existing salary. 34,000 in some countries is equal to the average national wage. So this is a very part-time opportunity. You can take it full-time if you wish, but in these very uncertain economic times, why not put your cell phone to work? Why not put your PC to work? Why not put a little bit of time, share these information with others, and start building this community? Now, that's the $100 matrix. What if these guys intended to upgrade to tiers 1 to 7? We've just done a calculation here that would pay you about 43 million. For those that can see this community upgrading all the way over time, I'm sure, to tiers 8, 9, and 10, you can see that's an additional 154 million on top of the 43 million, meaning the total possibility is $198 million from this 3 by 10. Again, let's be realistic. Nobody's going to achieve that. But if you achieve 10% of this example, how bad would 10% of 198 million sound to you? In fact, if you only achieve 1% of my example, 1%, how bad would 1% of 198 million sound to you? That's $1.9 million. So systematically, I can teach you how to do this, but this is an overview. I simply just want to share the model with you, and it's entirely up to your efforts, it's entirely up to your skills, it's entirely up to the time you employ in this business and how well you achieve. I've done another calculation here on the first 3 matrices. So let's say you contributed the 100, the 200, and the 400. Total contribution to the project would be $700. Now we know, of course, 350 will go into your trading account. That's fine. And provided Dr. Anna Becker achieved 100%, we'll leave all your money back. So that's probably one of the worst case scenarios. You get all your money back. But of course, we know that $700 is also applied to our matrix. So, and we've already calculated that 344. We did that just a second ago. But would you believe me that if you go into the $200 matrix using the same mathematics here, you're going to find out that's going to pay double. Why? Because 200 is double 100, and you've got the same team, you've got the same crowd, so it's the same people upgrading. That's 688, which is double the 344. And again, when we go to the 4th one, it's double again. That gives you an additional $1.3 million total possibility in the first 3 tiers. That's the 1, the 2, and the 4 with the same people, the same community. You could make about $2.5 million or thereabouts. And this is just one of our bonuses. I'd like to talk about 2 more. There's an additional 5% on top of every contribution that you bring to the community. So let's hypothetically suggest you share this with me. I make a contribution, you'll get 5%, but you're likely to place me on one of these first 3 locations on your first generation. So in that case, you would get the 5% introduction bonus and the 4%, meaning 9% is going to you. In the event that these 3 locations are filled up and gone, it's likely then you'd place me on the 2nd generation, and you get 5% direct bonus plus the 4, so it's still 9%. In the event that both the 3 and the 9 were taken up by others, you'd have to place me in what I call the belly of the business, the center of the business. You'd be getting 5 plus 3. So the commissions are quite rewarding here. It's 34% plus another 5, which is 39% payout. So that's the 5% bonus. The 10% is what's called a matching bonus. You would also be entitled to 10% of every matrix bonus I received. So let's suggest I made $1,000 this week. Well, you'd get 10%, and that comes not out of my pocket, of course. That will come from the system, from the smart contract. You will be paid 10% of everything I earn in the matrix. So $1,000, you get $100. Let's suggest week 2 I made $2,000. Well, then you get $200. So this is a 10% bonus on all of your directs, provided you're in the matrix they're in. If you're only in 4 of the matrices, you'll get paid 10% on all of those 4. But let's suggest I upgraded to the 5th and you weren't in the 5th, then you wouldn't be entitled to 10% in the 5th because you haven't decided to contribute at that particular level. The other thing I would like to say is that you get these bonuses paid instantly. When I say instantly, I'm talking about 3 seconds later. There is no delay. We're not waiting to the weekend. We're not waiting to the end of the month. This is done in real time, wallet to wallet, peer to peer. It's phenomenal, and that's why we use this smart contract technology. And then that brings us to our pace setter bonuses. There's 3 areas to this one. I want to keep it simple. The software looks at your activity And in the first 30 days, you set the pace. You set the pace to what you'd like to achieve. Let's hypothetically suggest that after 30 days, you'd shared this with only 3 people, and those 3 people had made a contribution of $1,000. Well, in that case, the software would congratulate you and say, well done. You've got 3 people in the team. That's great. Total contribution is $1,000. Well done. The software will open up all commissions on the 4th generation for you without qualifying. In other words, you don't need 6, you don't need 2,000. You get paid on all contributions on your 4th generation. So that's very, very simple. Now, if we go down to generation 9, how would you do that? Well, in 30 days from now, if you'd only 21 directs, of which the total contribution was $64,000, the software would congratulate you again and say, well done. In 30 days, this is what you've achieved, but we're willing to pay you all bonuses on the 10th generation, even though you didn't bring 24, you only brought 21. Even though you didn't get this 128,000 contribution, you got 64, we're happy to pay you for the rest of your life on all the contributions on the 10th generation in your matrix. So that's the first part. You unlock matrix levels 3 to 9. It opens up the next level for life. Very, very simple. Now, the next part is also simple, but it's more important that you try and achieve it. This is what we call our goal pace setter bonus. This is how it works. It's only for the high achievers. So in other words, if you find 24 directs with a total contribution of 128,000 by these 24 directs, now of course you could have 30 directs or 50 directs, but minimum 24, total contribution of $128,000 to the DAISY project, what happens then is you get an entitlement, you get a share, a profit share of 1.8% in the entire global crowdfunding packs. And what that means is you now get paid from my activity, from your uplines activity, from the founders activity, from your crossline, upline, downline, the entire global community. In fact, you might only have 24 in your little team, and somebody's building a monstrous business with 10,000 people. Every single contribution that comes to the company, the software will pay you an equal share of 1.8%. And that's a very special, this is what I call the global spillover. You're getting the spillover from the entire community effort. So it's a really, really worthwhile project for going for. In addition to that, you'll get that other 5% I talked about. So for our high achievers who go goal pace setter, the extra 5% in equity from Endotech is shared with this community who do this achievement. In addition to that, the next part is, as people withdraw, I showed you some examples where a client had earned $2,500. If they withdrew that, 1.25% of the entire community's withdrawals goes to these pace setters, and that's shared by the pace setters. This is a very, very special bonus. The next one is called our leadership bonus. That's for those of you that can find or help 3 people do exactly what I've just said there. If you can introduce 3 people that achieve pace setter, and in fact, it's not just 3, it's every 3. If you do 6, you get 2 shares. If you bring in 9 that do it, you get 3 shares. So every 3 personal pace setter gold achievers that you create, you share in an additional 1.8% of the entire global crowdfunding. And there's another 1.245% on the withdrawals. Guys, these are very, very special bonuses, and something you want to get back to the person that shared this with you, something that you want to put down on paper now, roll up your sleeves, go to work, and make that happen. First 30 days from when we go live, you need to achieve that, and that's what's available. Now, that brings us to our last bonus. It's called our trading bonus. This is very, very simple again, and very, very rewarding. It's been said that compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. I think it was Einstein came up with that. The 8th wonder of the world, and not everybody understands compounding. If you don't, I suggest you go to YouTube or wherever and type in the power of compounding, something like that, and learn what compounding is. Compounding is a very, very special mechanism, and it means that when your principal and your profit are working together to grow new money, it's a very special place to be. And if you can find a program or a company that can offer this compounding potential, well, you're in a very good place. But this bonus I'm about to talk to you is what I call the 9th wonder of the world, not the 8th, the 9th. Because here you benefit from the compounding activity of the entire community that you create. So in other words, if you share this with me and I withdraw, you're getting 3.5% of what I withdraw. Now, guys, this does not come out of my money. Don't worry. I'm not giving you anything. This is coming directly from Endotech on the trading side, that they're paying out 3.5% to you for your entire front line. Now, this is not the matrix. You know, if you have 10 people introduced or 24 people introduced, you're getting 3.5% of all 24 people's withdrawals in the community. The second generation is also 1% of their withdrawals. And of course, there is no qualification to get paid on these first two generations. It's just like the matrix. However, there is qualifications for generations 3 to 10, and that applies exactly like the matrix conditions. And if you do that, now you're getting paid on the compounding power of the community, not just the compounding power of your money working with this system. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do get back to the person that shared this with you. Get their link, start understanding it, download the wallet, start accumulating Tron. Tron is a cryptocurrency. You're familiar with Bitcoin, you're familiar with Ethereum. Tron is just another top 20 coin. It's going to be the gas, it's going to be the transaction, the in and out. We're going to use Tron. Why do we use Tron? Well, it's very fast. It's got dApps applications. It's got it's a very good for smart contracts, but the cost, the fees are very, very low. And that's why we're going to use, because there's going to be a lot of transactions here and you want to keep the fees low. And that's why they've decided to use Tron. Of course, at any point in time, when you have your Tron, you can convert that to Bitcoin or Ethereum or dollars or euro. It's entirely up to you. So for the entry and exit, we're going to use Tron. In fact, when you put Tron in, Dr. Anna Becker converts it to USDT, and then she applies it to the trading. So that's it for now. I hope I haven't confused you. I hope I've made it as simple as possible. If you need to listen to this again, by all means, come back and see us again. I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, same time, same link. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.